One of the most common questions I see in the Tesla community can be boiled down to just 5 words. Model 3 or Model Y? Which one should you go with? So in this video, I want to do a comparison of the Model 3 and the Model Y, but this is not any standard comparison because this kind of is a double whammy. This is a standard range plus Model 3 and this is a long range Model Y. So what is the difference between the partial premium interior and the full premium interior? Also, what's the difference between the new 2021 models and one from 2019? In this video, I'm kind of going through all of the different features, including the audio system. Which one sounds better? Can you really tell a difference with the differences in the audio system between the standard range and long range Teslas? We will answer that question, plus a whole lot more, go through all the details, everything you need to know between the Model 3 and the Model Y. So let's just start things off with some of the physical differences on the exterior of the car. You'll notice that the Model Y shares a lot of the same DNA as the Model 3, obviously heavily inspired by this model that came before it. And you'll notice that it is a little bit larger. It's kind of hard to show on video just how large it is in comparison to the Model 3, but you'll notice that you're gonna be a little bit bigger, you're gonna be a little bit more off the ground, so you've got a bit more height and makes it a little bit easier when you're trying to see. You're gonna sit up a little bit higher off the ground and can see a little bit more of the road if you're into that sort of thing, but not significantly bigger. It's not like going from a Model 3 to a Model X, but you are just going to get a little bit more room, especially up on top, since you do have a little bit of a taller car on the Model Y. You'll also notice right off the bat the differences cosmetically with the chrome delete. You'll notice on everything before 2020 and some late 2020 models, the chrome was exposed. So you have chrome here on the trim, chrome here around the mirrors on the cameras, their indicators, door handles, you have chrome, whereas Tesla switched in 2020 and all Model Ys now 2021, since they came out later, was chrome delete. So you now have chrome deleted here on the trim, chrome delete door handles here around the mirror, on the indicators, which I personally think looks better, but that's just something you're gonna have to live with if you have a older Tesla. But you will notice that chrome delete is now standard on all cars, so not exclusive to the Model Y, but just something to point out with the newer Teslas is that chrome delete from the factory, which is kind of nice. On the outside, not a whole lot here in terms of differences between 3 and Y. You'll notice that this has the upgraded wheel package. These are just the base wheels here on the Model 3. Pretty much the same hardware. Again, a lot of the same DNA here, you'll notice, from the Model 3 kind of extends over to the Model Y. Obviously, we'll get to some of the more specific stuff in a minute. Speaking, though, specifically in terms of long range versus standard range plus, what are the big differences? On the outside, not a whole lot. You'll notice that the long range Model Y and the standard range plus Model 3 look pretty much exactly the same, basically identical. You couldn't really tell this apart from a performance, a long range, except for the badge. You'll notice on the back of my very, very dirty Model 3, there is no badge, no performance badge, no long range badge, nothing on these standard range models, whereas any long range model of the Tesla Model 3 or Model Y will have a dual motor badge and then maybe an underline there for performance, but you'll notice there's no badge on these standard range models. Other cosmetic differences here, the fog lights. The standard range plus does have fog lights, but they're currently not active, so you can't get them on the newer models, though my 2019 one does have them working. And of course, they are standard on both cars, but only working on the long range and above, not on any of the new standard range plus models for whatever reason. And yeah, not a whole lot of differences here on the outside. The bigger differences here are, of course, on the inside, but very nice looking cars share a lot of the same DNA. So now let's kind of get into the nitty gritty of the inside and really show off some of the big differences. First, let's take a look at the frunk of both cars, because you will notice some differences here with the frunk. So here is the frunk of the standard range plus. So you can see it's a really good sized frunk. There's kind of that honeycomb here at the top. You will notice something here interesting that Tesla got rid of that I actually really like are these little clips for shopping bags. So these are not present on any of the new cars. This is like an older Tesla quirk, I believe, of 2019 models. They got rid of these, I think, at the end of 2019 or early 2021, but it's kind of cool that these have these shopping clips that are no longer there. You'll see nothing here with standard range plus, just the base plastic at the bottom there. You've got a tire tool, and that is it, but still a really nice size trunk, or frunk rather, excuse me. It's a frunk on the Tesla. Going here to the Model Y, You can see here, I think it's got a pretty similarly sized frunk here, maybe a little bit bigger than that of the Model 3. Same tire tool here, though, again, you've got a different kind of style plastic here, no kind of lining or covering that comes with the car, so plenty deep. I'd even say probably this is a little bit deeper than that of the Standard Range Plus. I don't know, let's take a look. There's the Model Y frunk, and here is the Model 3. Probably just a tad bit deeper, but still plenty of room inside of both. You will notice here there's a nice liner that is on here on the Model Y that is not on the top of the Model 3. Not sure if this is a long-range thing or just something they're doing with the Model Y, but this is kind of nice to see as well. I'll also tell you that it's much easier to open and close the frunk on the Model Y than it is the Model 3. I think this is probably something they fix with newer cars, but on my 2019, it's not only as hard to open and close, but also if this stays in the open position for a long enough time, it gets very firm and very rigid and is hard to close properly. You really have to give it a lot of force, where Tesla's really fixed that here on the newer ones, especially on the Model Y. Very easy to open and close. You can basically just do it with one hand, just like that. With the Model 3, it is a little bit harder to do. I can bring it down. I can do it with one hand, but it's just not as nice as some of the refinements they've made on the newer car. So nice frunks on both. Let's take a look at the back. Now, the trunks is where you'll notice some immediate differences here on the cars. Now, the Model 3 I have does not have a motorized trunk, though the newer ones do. So I just have the manual mode of opening it up. But as you can see, a pretty decent sized trunk here. A lot of space here. You've got a lot of junk, probably like me, in the back of your trunk. And you can see there it all is doing nicely, just kind of sitting there in the back. I've got a lot of stuff here, but you can see a good sized trunk space. Excuse the mess. I apologize. Dirty car, dirty trunk. And then some more stuff down here as well. So plenty of space, but you're going to get more, of course, on the Model Y. If we go over here, not only does it open automatically, but you've just got a lot more space to work with here. As you can see, obviously, one of the big selling points of the Model Y is you just have more space. So you have a much bigger trunk on the back. We can also take these out, and I can kind of show you some of the bottom space here. See, my parents are very practical with their own liners here. You do have a nice kind of felt material here, and you've got a lot of space on the bottom as well. So lots of nice space to work with here. Very spacious in the back. Easy to put down the seats as well. You can do it just from these buttons on the side, where with my Model 3, you have to pull and do it manually. There's no button here on the side or anything like that. You have to do it a little bit differently here. So obviously, still a good amount of trunk space in the back of the 3, but you're going to just get more in the Y. That's just one of the advantages of having a car like this. You're just going to get some more trunk space. You can haul more stuff, just a little bit different. Not bad, not one better than the other, but if you're looking to haul more stuff and prefer the Model Y design, you're going to get a little bit more of a spacious trunk in the back than the trunk on the Model 3. And like I said, you've got manual closing on the 3, at least my older one. And then on the Y, you have just a nice button that'll do it automatically, and it also has a memory in it as well, so if you want to have it stop at a certain height and not go all the way up, you can have that as an option as well. So those are really big differences here on the exterior. The one last difference I want to mention on the exterior, it's not different between the Model Y and 3 much anymore these days, but what is different with older Teslas is the older Teslas 2019 does not have any kind of speaker for emissions when you're in reverse. So the new ones kind of sound like a spaceship when you have them in reverse, and you can also do that boombox feature and play stuff out of it. This has a speaker, all newer Teslas do, when you go into drive in reverse. It kind of gives an emission of sound. This one does not. Again, that's just a quirk of the older Tesla versus the newer Tesla. It's not a standard range plus versus long range thing. It's just one of the quirks of older Teslas. But as you can see, so far, even with a car that's almost 2.5-ish years old that I picked up in March of 2019, still has a lot of the flagship features on the exterior of the newer ones, but the bigger differences here, of course, inside. So let's jump inside and see what we have to work with and what are the big differences between Model Y and Model 3. So starting first with my Model 3, something I want to point out specifically here is a difference between long range and standard range plus, specifically partial premium interior versus full premium interior. In the standard range plus, you do not get floor mats. So these are third-party ones I bought on Amazon. I'll leave a link to them down below. They're excellent. But this is what you get when you get the car. It just comes with this basic carpet material and that's it. There's no layer of protection. There is no floor mat. That is all you get, just the basic carpet. No floor mats with the Standard Range Plus, even though it's a $40,000 car. Little ridiculous if you ask me. These are also aftermarket. You do not get the metal foot pedals. I actually love these. These are like my favorite accessories I got off of Amazon. Link to those down below. But you just get kind of the basic accelerator and brake that you get in the long range as well. The only way to get metal foot pedals is with a performance model, but Amazon to the rescue on that, because that is really nice to see. Again, I have a floor mat here in the back, but you do not get a floor mat with the Model 3. Again, you just kind of get this basic carpet that's underneath. These are third-party floor mats that I had to get, which is a little bit of a weird quirk on the Standard Range Plus, but that's just one of the ways that Tesla differentiates the models. What I will say though, in terms of just, you know, basic interior here, is all the material inside is the same. So you have the same seats, you have the same leather, you have the same wood trim, you have the same everything else, glass sunroof. Everything else in this car is the same that you'd get on the long range model. So whether you go Standard Range Plus or you go with the long range or performance, interior is going to look exactly the same, which I appreciate. And you're getting some really nice comfortable leather, really nice steering wheel, and everything else, all the nice trims and the kind of Alcantara material there, the wood, all that is the same. Big differences are going to be with the center console and some other things, which I'll get into in a second, but everything else here is pretty much the same. Another quirk of the older Model 3s that you do not have in the Model Y is a difference with the center console. So if you get a 2019 or 2020 model before the refresh, you get the older center console, which basically is a 3-piece set that kind of looks like this. So you kind of have a spot up here for a wireless charger, though one does not come with the car. You just basically get kind of an empty slot where you can put a wireless charger, but nothing comes with it. You get the slot down here, which is basically another just kind of a holder for you know, storage and stuff like that. And then you get a slot back here, which is just for your cup holders, and then just kind of your regular you know, more storage under the armrest like that. This is in contrast to the newer center console that is on the Model Y, which I'll show you right now. So in the new Model 3s, and of course in the Model Y, is the all-new center console, which again has sort of these 3 pieces, but it looks much different. What you have at the top here is a built-in wireless charger. So no third-party accessory needed, no kind of wires or cables to run. You have a wireless charger built in, which is super cool to see. This now is replaced from that weird flapping system with a nice kind of Model S-inspired drawer that kind of slides open and slides closed. You have, of course, storage under there, and that just kind of goes like that. Cup holders, and then again an armrest with more storage under there as well. So nice, new. This is in the Model 3s as well, but something that you do not get in older Teslas, which I really, really like in the Model Y and of course the new Model 3s. Let's do a quick look here at the space in the back of the car. As you can see, pretty good amount of space here in the back of the Model 3. They're going to get a little bit more in the Model Y. Let's go ahead and take a look in the back here. Let's open this up. As you can see, lots of room here in the back. I'm going to sit back here. You're going to get a little bit more headroom. You still have that kind of panoramic glass roof, but you are going to get a little bit more headroom because the car is physically taller. You've got the same vents in the back as the Model 3. You've got 2 USB-C ports for charging. And, you know, a pretty spacious back here, not as much as the Model X, but it's a nice 5-seat configuration. You've got access to see the screen if you need to, see up front, but a nice amount of headroom here in the Model Y that you just do not get as much of here in the Model 3. Not bad in the Model 3, just though a little bit more spacious here in the back of the Model Y. You also notice another difference here. Same vents, but in my older Model 3, you have 2 USB-A ports and not USB-C ports. They have, of course, rectified this issue on newer ones, but just thought I'd point it out. Older Teslas usually have USB-A, while the newer ones have USB Type-C. Something else I can show off for those curious is the difference between the black interior with the black leather seats and the wood trim versus the one on the white. So let me show you what my mom has here in the Model Y. There is a difference here with the white. Here's sort of what the white interior looks like with sort of the white trim up on top. You can see that the seats get a little bit dirty, but really not much. I mean, these seats have held up incredibly well. I think if you just came in here with a microfiber cloth and kind of clean these up, they would still look just like new, but they look great right now. And even in the back as well, which gets a lot less use in the front, I mean, these just look pretty much perfect. I mean, not a whole lot of maintenance needs to be done to get the white looking like it is brand new, but I really do like the white interior. You can see there the white accents here on the door. You've got white here, obviously on the trim. You've got white on the trim here, the white up front. And again, there's a look at the white versus the darker interior on the Model 3. Though you can get this dark interior on the Model Y as well. But I really, kind of looking at the dark and the light side by side, think the white interior is growing on me more and more. But just something I thought I'd show off so you guys can keep that in mind. But one thing I did want to touch on that I know is very important and a feature that has been very in debate, and one that has been a big point of contention in my videos and something a lot of people wanted to see, is the audio system. What is the difference between the Standard Range Plus audio system in the partial premium interior versus the full audio system in the full interior of the long range Tesla? So let me kind of show you guys a little bit of a comparison between the Model 3 audio system versus the Model Y audio system, and show you what that difference really sounds like to the best of my ability in this video. All right, so I have what hopefully will not get me removed from YouTube, is some music bed licensed music that I should be able to play free and clear. And I'm going to play that in various parts of the car so you guys can kind of hear what it sounds like. And what I will also do is I will clear my settings. So this is what I had recommended on my Standard Range Plus audio system because it is limited. This car is missing amplifiers and subwoofers and additional speakers that the long range car has that this one does not. So this is missing some speakers and some subwoofers and stuff. So the audio system is different. So what I will do is bring it back down to 0 just to give you a, wow, that screen is hot, some very similar comparisons here between just the stock audio system in the Standard Range Plus versus that in a long range car. So let me go ahead and play this, and I'll let you guys hear from different vantage points the media for yourself. So, fun update here. I apologize for the break in the video, but I just uploaded this entire video to YouTube, and I got a copyright claim on that music. Even though I paid for a music licensing service called MusicBed, they still allow people, artists, to claim the songs. I don't know. I hate MusicBed. It's been nothing but a nightmare. But anyways, besides the point of that, I am going to include a link down below to the comparison, because if I put it in this video, it's going to basically demonetize the whole video. So I'm not going to leave you guys high and dry. Hit the link down below. Check out the unlisted video that gives you a little bit of a better idea of the audio systems, just because I've been talking about it before and for so long and just thought it'd be better than nothing. So apologies in advance, blame MusicBed, horrible system. But anyways, check that link down below for the audio system comparison between the partial premium in the Standard Range Plus and the full premium in the long range Model Y. So I'm not sure how well that translates over video, but you definitely do hear a difference, especially in person, between the Model Y and what you have on the Model 3. Specifically, again, because of that subwoofer, the extra amplifiers, the extra speakers, you're just getting a much more immersive sound on that higher end system than you have in the Standard Range Plus. Is the Standard Range Plus system bad? Not by any means. It's still really good, but there is a noticeable difference there between what you have in the long range and with the Model 3. So curious, what are your thoughts between these two cars? Obviously, again, a little sporadic. Sorry that it was a little all over the place, but those are a lot of differences, not only between Model 3 and Model Y, but also differences between long range and Standard Range Plus, partial premium versus full premium interior. What are your thoughts? So a lot of great cars. Obviously, they are both great cars. They both share a lot of the same DNA, but what are your thoughts between Model 3 and Model Y? Let us know in the comments down below. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. Thank you guys for sticking with me through this very sporadic video, and I appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one.